Core system login in progress.
Alrighty, we need to implement the scaling, and we are going to put a scale in our map level. When we have multi-chunks, there will be one map level for all of our chunks. Each chunk itself will provide its XORG and ZORG to the to the map level when it generates. The scaling, though, needs to be implemented. So we're going to jump over I was working on some other stuff there. So we're going to jump over to the map level. And we're going to put in here a new variable called scale. Since this is a struct, it's initialized to 0. Let's initialize to 10. Alright, save our file. Let's jump over to the editor and let's get scaling implemented. Scaling is actually fairly easy but redundant. Copy, go to one of your sides, either any one of them, because we have to do it to all of them. Starting on side 5. Oh, excuse me. We have got to initialize our scaling variable. We'll put it before. We'll put in initialize. Now we have the little bitty red mark up here. And we need to pass in our map level scale. Alright, now we're ready to go. Copy the vertice times equal to scale. Hey. Scale, scale, scale. Now go to each of our methods. When we get the mesh library in place, we won't have to do this, so this will be a little redundant, but let's go ahead and get it done. You can move forth in making your first $1 billion. Okay. We need to actually handle for it in a bunch of more places, though. So let's jump to the handle input. So since our scene is scaled, our input needs to change. And it all needs to change right here. So we have to divide all of our points by scale. But then comically, we've got to multiply the result by scale everywhere we set our preview. I know it's horrible. So let's see here. So we need to multiply each of these by the scale, because we've knocked these down to get the actual column and row. And I just realized that on the nugget mode, we didn't do set identify. Oops. All right. So this should get really boring. Not only that, we need to kind of separate this stuff. Debugging purposes more than anything. So now we can copy this, but we need to watch ourselves. Some of these shift. Or may shift, may change. Make sure we use the same variables. And later, as we're progressing, we'll make this a lot cleaner. This is just, I don't consider this clean code, having all this redundant code. But it's best for teaching. So, we can live with it, right? And we're ready to go test.
Access granted.
Alrighty, let's see if we forgot anything here. We have a huge, oh no, look at it. Wow. So, why are we using map scale? I believe I said this before, but Unity's character controller does not like little numbers. And truthfully, when we're using the scale of 1, those numbers do get really little. And the smaller the number, and we're dividing it, etc., the more likely we are to run into the floating point error. Where is my preview? I forgot that somehow. It's way up there. Alright, we got a bug with the preview here. It's way over there. Alrighty. Let's check that out, debug that.
Access granted.
Alright, this is found it pretty quickly. I didn't change, it's only in nugget mode that we're having the problem. And I forgot to change those. So I'm betting that is it. So as you can see, I have nugget mode on by default. Turning it off. Going up to, let's say 48-ish, yeah. Go up a little bit higher. Alright, there we go. We're working now. But let's try it. Let's test out nugget mode. Nope. It's still off in the wild blue yonder. So nugget mode. Did I not save? I saved. Handle nugget mode. Yeah, right there. Pick column, picked Y, picked row. Oh, there we go. Oh, we're not scaling our scroll delta. Ah, that's it. It's right up in my face. Now I understand. It's the little things. Go ahead and put our character up about 54. Go to nugget mode. Go to place. There we go. Now it's acting like it should. So we have to actually scale up our scroll delta to get it to work on nugget mode. And then we divided that back down, as goofy as that sounds. And that is it for scales. We're going to jump over to Mesh Library now, finally. And we're going to get that done. Bring our Mesh Library in will be the starting of actually being able to create some more, getting closer to actually creating games. So, my microphone moved way out of the way. I hope that wasn't muted. That would be hilarious. All right, thank you. Like and subscribe if you got something out of this. God bless and see you in the next tutorial, the next lesson. We'll be in the Mesh Library world.